Hey guys, it's Jane. It is March 12th. I just wanted to post a new video for you and give you some updates about some things that have sold, and show you a few cool things that I have had purchased since the last video. So we'll start off with our solds since last time. So the first item that I had sold was this Yankee Candle ceramic candle holder. It's like the type that you put the candle on the base and then you can put the top on if you want to extinguish the flame on it. It was a real nice candle holder that I had picked up a while back, so it did sit for a little while before it sold. But then somebody finally bought it earlier in the month of February. I picked that up for, I want to say like $2 and sold that for $14 on eBay. The next thing was, again, something that had sat for a little while, but I thought it was nice enough to pick it up. It's this white cased art glass handkerchief vase. They call it a handkerchief because the style of it looks like a handkerchief. And so I had picked that up at the church thrift store that I go to in Edgewater a while back, and there was no damage on it or anything. That I believe I ended up paying I think like 45 cents for. It was one of the earlier hauls from that thrift shop last year. And so they were having some kind of sale, I think, the day that I had gone. And so I bought like a lot of stuff. I want to say like 12 or 14 items, and I think everything averaged out to be around like 40 to 50 cents. So that was a great deal. So I sold that for $14 on Mercari. The next thing was something that you guys had more recently seen in a previous video. It was this Beaumont Brothers Pottery rabbit bank, and I had picked that up for $8 at a new little consignment shop here in Annapolis, because I'm going to be taking some things to consignment in May, so I wanted to kind of scope out the place, and so I picked this up. And the cool thing about it, which I had talked about in the previous video, was if you see this cross here on the bottom, that means that one of the actual Beaumont brothers made this piece. So I paid $8 for that, and I sold that for $29. And I thought that would be a good piece to pick up since Easter's coming up soon. And then the last thing that I just recently sold last week were these two wooden bowls. They're like smaller, kind of decorative pieces that I had picked up at the church thrift. And I think I only paid like $1.25 for those. I did add some oil to the wood just to kind of give it a little bit more of a sheen there, because they were older pieces, and I just felt like they would clean up pretty good. So they did end up looking nice. And yeah, so I paid $1.25 for those and sold those for $20. So I thought that was great. So yeah, I just wanted to show you a few other things that I have purchased since February. So, because the thing is, we're in the season of Lent right now, and I actually gave up shopping for Lent. So that's no thrifting, no shopping of any kind. The only time I can shop is if it's for like a necessary purchase, like groceries or gas, food, things like that. But there's been no sourcing or thrifting or anything. So it's been difficult, but it's been manageable, and it's really making me, think about purchases and just like slow down a little bit. I stopped thrifting and shopping for myself, and I can't pick that back up again until after Easter, at which time I am probably going to have to reevaluate and just slow down a little bit, because I was getting a little bit too click happy with my purchases there. So, but yeah, I just wanted to show you a few things that I had purchased before Lent began. So let's get started with that. Okay, so the first thing was I had gone to a Goodwill in Bowie. I was meeting my sister over there for like a brunch, lunch kind of thing after church one Sunday. Hi, Charlie. Hi. And I didn't really find much, but I did find this little 1970s candle holder, and I just really liked the color of it, and I knew like we were going to be celebrating St. Patrick's Day soon, so I just figured I would pick that up. And it's got these like raised flowers on it, and there was no damage on that. And I picked that up for a couple of dollars. The next thing was this mug. I follow a YouTuber online. Her name is, she goes by Crazy Lamp Lady. But anyway, she had a similar mug for sale, and someone purchased it at a higher price point than I was comfortable with. So I did a little bit of digging online and found somebody else selling a similar mug on Etsy. Or no, I believe it was eBay. And I purchased this for $7. It's just, a vintage owl mug, and it strikes me as being Otagiri, but there was no Otagiri sticker on it. It does have a sticker on the bottom that says it's been hand painted, but I couldn't verify the maker. But I just really liked it. I thought it was really sweet, and as you guys know, I love owls, so picked that up for myself. Okay, we're in my bedroom now. This is the next thing that I picked up. I purchased this at the consignment shop that I have been recently visiting, and this was only $15, and it's really cool. It struck me as being Italian, and when I turned it over, I saw that it did say hand painted and made in Italy, and there was no damage on that at all, and I couldn't believe it was only $15. I love ceramic things and decorations and things like that, and I also love moon things. So when I saw that, I said I had to have it for the bedroom. I'm going to hang that back up here. One second, I'm just going to pause you guys to make sure I don't break it. Okay, there we go. So yeah, so they have similar designs online that are from Italy that are selling anywhere from like $50 to $60. So when I saw it was for $15, I definitely had to pick that up for sure. And now I'll take you to the next thing. Okay, so this is the other really awesome thing that I bought at the consignment shop the same day that I bought the moon. This was right before Lent started, so I couldn't pass this up. I've seen these selling online for $100 or even over sometimes, depending on the design. So this is definitely mid-century classic Black Panther TV lamp, and it's really exciting because it actually still works. I just picked up a new light bulb for it, and I just, it was sitting on the shelf for $35, and I said I have to have it, because I've seen other resellers pick these up to resell, and I've wanted one ever since I saw one. So I definitely had to have that, and it still has the little fake plant in it and everything. My husband isn't particularly a big fan of it, but he acknowledged that it was pretty cool. So I'll probably be holding on to that for a while. Alright, the next thing is one of the ones I'm more excited about as well. This is a modernist clock that I picked up. There's a consignment shop that's in Deal that I love to go to, and they do sales on Facebook. So sometimes they'll get new inventory in, and you can purchase directly from their Facebook page. And then go and pick the item up at a later date. So when this popped up on their feed, I had to have this. I just love the lines of this, and at this point, it's fair to say that I'm a collector of clocks, because I have a lot of clocks, and I didn't even realize how many clocks I had, but I just love everything about it. The shape, the design, everything. It still runs. It's a really nice, solid piece, and I just think it looks really cool up on my shelf here. Picked that up for, I want to say like $58. So yeah, so that's definitely another one I'm keeping for me. Okay, this is the last piece that I'm going to show you that I picked up recently. So this is very exciting for me, because you guys might even be able to recognize this name. But this is a Murano glass vase. I picked this up for $20. So there was a woman on one of my Facebook groups that was selling it, and she was selling it for cheap, and I was pretty curious as to why she was selling it so cheap, because there was no damage or anything on it. So I had talked to her about it, and basically she had said that she bought it when she took a trip to Italy with her then husband, and they had since been divorced. So she just wanted to sell it and pass it along quickly, because she didn't want it in her house anymore, which was understandable. But so I told her that I was a very big fan of glass, and art glass in particular, and I hadn't had a Murano piece yet. The thing about Murano is that a lot of pieces they'll try to pass it off as real Murano glass, and a lot of them have stickers on them that say Murano, but unless you're educated in Murano, you're not going to be able to tell if it's the real deal or fake. But this is definitely a real one. I even confirmed it with a Murano glass group. Some of the stickers that say Murano on them are in a different language, and it translates to something like made in the style of Murano. Or sometimes they'll outright say it is Murano, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's true Murano glass. So you really have to know what to look for. This sticker, if I can get focus, is one of the real stickers you want to look for. So it says Murano glass, handmade, fatto a mano. And then just like looking at all the details, you really want to know like the weight of the thing, the cut, the clarity of that, kind of think about the way you think about diamonds, you know what I mean? You're going to be able to tell if it's a quality piece versus something that is of lower quality. Some of the pieces that aren't Murano will have like air bubbles in them, or the shape will be kind of asymmetrical, not exactly what you're looking for when it comes to a higher quality Italian glass piece. So yeah, that was very exciting for me. She said that she paid quite a bit more than $20 for it when she was in Italy, and she actually got to visit the factory where they were making the glass. I don't know if necessarily you'd call it a factory, but that she got to watch them make some of the pieces. So I thought that was really, really cool. So yeah, again, definitely going to be holding on to this one, and it sits right on top of my curio cabinet. So I'm just going to put that back up there, and then I'm going to show you my curio because I just recently bought some new light bulbs for it, and I haven't lit it up in quite some time. So I'm going to turn that on for you and show you how it looks. Ta-da! So when I had gone to the hardware store to pick up a light bulb for the TV lamp, I also picked up some bulbs for my curio cabinet. I've had this curio cabinet for years and years and years. My father bought it for me for Christmas one year, and he actually wrapped it in Christmas wrapping paper. The entire thing. So I'm sure that was quite an accomplishment. But so unwrapping it was pretty fun too. So I was telling my husband that I haven't actually lit it up in years because one of the bulbs had gone bad, and then we just didn't bother to plug it back in. And then I had moved from place to place for a while it stayed at my dad's house, so I hadn't been around it for a while. And then we moved here, and the placement of where this is not near any kind of outlet. But when I was cleaning it to put my vases on top, the new vases I had just recently bought, I found the cords, and I forgot completely that it lit up. So recently I attached the cords to an extension cord to go to the nearest outlet, and then I bought the bulbs. So everything shines up real nice in here. And I can't remember if I've ever done like a review of my cabinet, but basically just some of the pieces you'll probably recognize from recent videos, but I've just been putting things in here that I thought looked nice. These little Beatrix Potter pieces are from my grandmother on my father's side. And then some other pieces in here I know I've talked about in some videos. This little sake set here is a gift from my sister when she went to Japan. So that was cool. This is my little Fenton glass bird. He kind of started my love of Fenton glass. Down here we have my Steuben art glass, I call it an ashtray, my satin glass vase, this cool guy, this owl I picked up at that consignment shop, the same one that I got the clock from. And then this guy back here is pretty neat. I purchased him at Goodwill for like $4. This vase is from like the late 1800s, early 1900s. And then a hobbyist painted over it, but it's from France. It's broken, it's got some broken pieces on it, but I just couldn't pass it up for the history of it for $4. This is a Dollar Tree item that I've had since I was a little girl. Little art glass fish in there, my little bluebird of happiness, little trinket box. Let's see what else. I recently got this copper tea set from my mother-in-law. She knows I love copper stuff, so she found that for me and got that for me for a Christmas present. My Lalique bird that I talked about in another video, and my lock vase. Some art glass apples. I was starting to kind of collect those because I'm a teacher, so I've kind of grown a little bit of a collection there. This one's marble or stone, but the rest of them are glass. I think this blue one is Blanco, and then these three are signed by different artists. And then down here we have our Halloween shelf, and then some other things I had picked up. So we have a McCoy vase, we have a copper and enamel plate, a little planter, and a couple other small little pieces that I picked up from the little thrift shop. And then down here, I love Halloween, so we have the Nightmare Before Christmas desk set down here. We've got a Marilyn Monroe skeleton that my mother gifted me years and years ago. I just picked this up at Goodwill not that long ago, but she was cute and she didn't have any damage on her at all, so I figured I'd rescue her. And then the coolest piece down here is this green guy. Okay, so I took him out of the case just to give you a little bit of a better view. But this is from my late grandmother-in-law. So my mother-in-law actually found this in her storage unit, and she told me that it was her mother's, and it's an ashtray. It's a vintage ashtray. His jaw is in a baggie back here just to keep it with the thing, because it, like, there's part of it that's like detached now and it won't sit correctly. But yeah, it's so awesome. It's, I think, from what she was telling me, it's almost close to being 100 years old. But made in Japan, ceramic ashtray. His jaw, when you attach it, his jaw moves up and down, and I think the point of it is you can rest your cigarette on top, and then of course in the bottom is where the ashes fall in. So I just love that. I tend to like those like more morbid pieces, because again, I'm a big Halloween fan and all that. So when she gifted that to me, I was very excited. But that's definitely one of my favorite pieces in my cabinet. So yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of show off a little bit of my purchases recently, just to kind of get myself through this time and make myself feel a little bit better about the fact that I can't shop. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm going to actually attach a little bonus footage at the end here where I'm going to show you how to restore an older wooden piece and kind of bring it back and make it look like new again. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Hey guys. So I wanted to take some time and just show you how to restore wood. Like if you have like a vintage wood piece and it's kind of dried out, and just kind of how to bring some life back to the wood. So I have a couple other examples here that I had already done, because I love wood grain things and I just like the look of them. So there's a couple of pieces that I've had for a little while that I ended up holding on to because I needed to restore the wood. So these are the pieces. So the first is a vintage teak cheese board, and then I believe I got that at Goodwill for like, I want to say like $3. And then there's these little cool wooden salt and pepper shakers that I picked up at a market in Pennsylvania in spring of last year, I believe. And so I just liked the shape of them and the size. I thought they were really neat. But so both of these things were really dried out, and they needed some love. So I touched those up, and I'm going to show you how to do that today with this. So this is a vintage spice rack, wooden spice rack with these really cool ceramic compartments that have little strawberries on them. And I picked those up at the little church thrift store that I go to. I picked this entire set up for $2, but this specific container was completely shattered and broken, so I had to do a little bit of searching online to find a replacement. So I replaced that, and it's just been sitting on my kitchen wall for a while, and I've just been enjoying it, but I think it's time to part with it, because my overall goal is to go with a like a 50s diner Coca-Cola kitchen, and this doesn't really go with that look. So I think I am going to be kind of restoring this and then trying to move it along to another place. This specific container does have some wear on it as well, but it's not as bad. You can see there's a crack there that goes all the way through, but I don't feel like anybody who buys this is actually going to be using it as a spice rack. I think it's more, at this point, it's more for decorative purposes. But anyway, so if you look at the wood, it's just kind of faded in a lot of areas there. Just really dry. And it's been sitting, like I said, it's been sitting up on my wall for a little over a year, I believe now. So I'm gonna, first I think I'm gonna dust it off a little bit just to remove any kind of like loose dust. And then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so I've removed the little ceramic containers from the inside, and what I'm basically doing now is I'm just kind of taking a slightly damp paper towel and just kind of wiping the outside to get the dust and the extra crud off of the wood first. And you want to make sure that the paper towel doesn't have too much water in it to where it's like sopping, because you don't want the wood to get too much water on it. Just enough to get that dust off. And even if you don't have a dusty piece, it's still good to give it a little bit of a wipe down before you move on, just because, you know, you can, there's a lot of different things that can get on there, especially if it's something that's been outdoors. Different elements and stuff get into the wood, and you just want to give it a little bit of a cleaning. Yeah, you can even see, like, when I moisten it with the water, how much of a different color you're getting. Like, you can kind of see the stuff coming off on the paper towel, and you can really see that the wood desperately wants some moisture. Alright, this part is really dusty, and I need 2 hands to finish it up, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I've taken off the rest of the dust and just kind of cleaned it up a little bit, and then we're going to move to the next step. Now, everything so far that I've restored wood-wise has been like kitchen items. So what I use is a food-grade mineral oil. So the specific oil that I've been using is, it's cutting board oil. But the important thing that you want to make sure that it says is food grade if you're going to be restoring anything that involves food, or you might possibly put food in it. It is colorless, odorless, and tasteless, and it is safe to use with food. It's also great for not even just restoring vintage stuff, but if you have, you know, obviously cutting boards that are getting dry, or you have like wooden salad bowl sets, or something that needs to be brought back to life, you can use that as well. So the great thing about this stuff is that I've only just purchased this one bottle so far, and I've only used a teeny tiny little bit there for all these things, because you only really need a small amount. It really goes a long way. So what I usually do is I'll get like some cotton balls and just kind of put a little bit on, and just go a little bit at a time. And what I do initially is I kind of do like a test spot to make sure there's no kind of issues or reactions with the wood, the type of wood that I have. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so I've got a little dab on a cotton ball here, and I've kind of propped this up so you can see a little bit better. But we're just going to start testing it out and see what happens. So you can already kind of see like the sheen that it's giving the wood. Yeah, and I think that's a good sign there. So we're going to keep going. I'm just going to get a little bit more oil on my cotton ball. Alright, so I've got a little bit more of the oil now, and we're just going to keep gently rubbing. And you want to kind of go in the direction of the grain as you do this, making sure to get all the little crevices in there. If you have any kind of intricate woodwork items that you need to do this to, you can use like a Q-tip to really get down in those spots. And just do, like I said, a little bit at a time, because you don't want to use too much oil at once and then you end up with something that has way too much on it. It's just a shame because I feel like a lot of nice items get passed up by people because they are dried out and then they just don't realize or don't care to restore them. But you know, if you can take the time to do it, I think it's good. All right, I'm gonna just keep doing this, and then I'll bring you back after I'm done to see the final result. Alright, so I went ahead and finished up oiling. Took me about 20 to 25 minutes to do, just to make sure to get all of the boxes and the crevices and everything like that. I did go over some of the tighter spots, the corners and things, with a Q-tip. And I didn't bother doing the back of it, but if I show you the back, then you'll really be able to see the difference in the wood. So, yeah, let me just turn that around. So you can see this is what it looked like before, and now what it looks like after. You know, just really brings out the color a lot, and looks really nice. So I'm going to let this dry for about 24 hours. Sometimes, depending on the piece, I'll come back after 24 hours and see, you know, maybe it needs a little bit more oil in certain spots, or depending on the piece, sometimes I even give it another coat. But that's pretty rare usually that I have to do that. And then I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but if you are going to be doing anything like this, you want to make sure to wear clothing that either doesn't mean a whole lot to you, or wear something over your clothing that's going to protect your clothing, because even though the oil is colorless, it is still oil, so you don't want to get any kind of oil spots on your clothing, or put it on any kind of surfaces that are going to be ruined. So so I'm just going to let this dry, and then going to come back and put back the little compartments into their little, put the little containers back in their compartments, and then probably going to be listing this up on eBay at some point. I also wanted to mention that my Etsy shop is back up and running, so I will put a link to that in the description as well, because I did have an Etsy a while ago, and then I decided to stop using Etsy just because I don't really feel like at the time I really understood their fees and like how things worked. So I was kind of not happy with the return on investment that I was getting for things that I was listing there. But now basically what I'm going to be doing with my Etsy is just kind of, it's more of a curated platform. So, you know, Etsy in general, you can only sell vintage or handmade items there that you've personally made. So obviously my listings are going to just be vintage listings. But yeah, so it's more of a curated kind of experience where it's just going to be like specific items that I feel, you know, kind of go together and just have like more of like a boutique kind of feel to that. So anyway, I'll put a link to that as well. But yeah, so that's how to restore your wood items, and I hope that this was helpful to you, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.